When fighting a boss, after the boss dies, the music is supposed to slowly fade out and then return to whatever music is playing, like you see in this clip here. But for some reason, when a boss dies in an area that doesn't have any music, such as minotaurs, djinns, or demons, then the boss music just keeps playing only if you stand still. If you start moving, then the boss music will fade out and go back to playing nothing. No idea why this happens. In one of the sprite sheets in version 1.15.4, there's a Drow King that can be found. Even though it was never fully released, it was eventually added as the Drow Queen in Update 1.19. Little is actually known about the main creator of the game, Ricardo, but what we do know is his computer specs and a picture of his office, which looks really clean actually. I'm inserting this later in because I found this out while editing, but he's also apparently Mexican, so yeah. Another thing that isn't really known about Ricardo is that your mean comments actually do make him feel sad. Look at that frowny face. Isn't that just sad? Like, aren't you guys hurting? Look what you've done to this poor man. The online training timer is actually really weird with how it works. If you look at the training timer while you're using it, you can see that it goes down a little bit slower than it's actually supposed to. This is because you're still actually gaining online training time when you're training, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. As you can see in the video playing, Vampire 3 used to have skeleton archers at the end of it. No idea why they were there. There isn't any other like non-matching mob in their max zones, but I guess it was removed when the second map came out. On the official Rucoy Online Facebook account, you can see a teaser for Assassin Ninjas with a character named Gary. Gary has somehow de-leveled 30 times, making him level 13 now, and has been missing for 8 years. You can also see in the chat, "Go my son" twice, meaning that this shot took at least 2 takes. Here's a really weird video that I found randomly that was posted 8 years ago with 1,000 views of a guy turning himself into a Dragon Ball Z character. You can also see in this video that mobs didn't have a respawn animation and would just poof into existence. On the old map where that small ice island used to be, you can see that flowers were apparently growing on sand, and also there's grass clipping on top of it, and the mud is clipping on top of the bridge. The more you look at it, the worse it gets. On the Rucoy Online website, you can see that it clearly says that bosses will spawn at a minimum of 30 minutes apart from each other, but there's plenty of examples of bosses spawning within like 5 to 6 minutes on the same server. So does this mean that Ricardo lied to us? He would never do that. Just kidding, Ricardo, I love you. According to vidIQ, the top channels for Rucoy Online is MXMRMX, Passanity, and Jin. I could be number 1 if, you guys subscribed. While decompiling the game for this video, I noticed that in the folder that has all the music, Field 03 is missing. Where the hell is it? The game is literally unplayable. What are you doing, Ricardo? Ricardo actually acknowledged on Reddit that he already has Town 3 in mind, and that he realizes that the map needs more decorations, which is a huge W. I've been clamoring for this for so long. Some of the potential names that Clyde Rabbit and Bonnie Rabbit could have been include Mr. Rabbit and Miss Rabbit, King Rabbit and Queen Rabbit, Lord Rabbit and Lady Rabbit, and Jack Rabbit and Jill Rabbit. There are 347 tiles that you can stand on in the Drow Queen's throne room. Yes, I did actually check, and yes, I did warn you that these facts were useless. I'm pretty surprised that not a lot of people know this, but you can actually sell the non-transferable potions that you get from like free events or the rewards chest to the gear merchant. This could actually be considered useful information for all those like greasy, neckbeard, sweaty Redditors that complain about free items clogging up their inventory. On the left of the potions button and your special ability, as well as on the right of the class buttons, you can see that there's some stray pixels that aren't colored black or like darkened for some reason. And it's even more obvious if you turn on borders. So yeah, now you're never going to be able to unsee that. You can actually see in one of the teasers that Ricardo posted on Reddit, he has an item diamond in his inventory, which is otherwise unobtainable. He later clarified in a reply that he spawned it on accident and that it doesn't actually do anything, but it's still an interesting little thing. This one is a more known fact, but the original design for the second map was 5 times larger than what we actually got. The map was cancelled for obvious reasons, being that it would be way too big and it would feel super empty, but it's really interesting to see what it would have looked like. In the low quality picture that we do have, we can see that there were some pyramids in the desert area. The town was going to be way more fleshed out and a lot bigger. Ice was going to be huge and looks like it has a ton of different buildings and like some kind of circular thing on the right, and also a lot more. I would love to see this somehow playable, or at least like a higher quality version of the image, just so we can explore and see what everything would have been like, but I doubt Ricardo even has the map still. According to the Google Trends data, Rucoy Online's peak popularity was in April 2023 and December of 2023. Google Trends also shows us that the country that searches for Rucoy Online the most is Cuba, and the United States falls in 50th place, which I did not expect. I expected maybe like 10th at least, but 50th is insane. According to YouTube, the most viewed Rucoy Online video is just named Rucoy Online by Intento de Animación with 97,000 views. The video itself is just a nice little Rucoy Online animation that's really nicely made, but it's not actually the most viewed video. I have no idea why YouTube says that it's the most viewed Rucoy Online video, because the actual most viewed Rucoy Online video is Rucoy Online 0 to 85 Level Guide for Beginners by Ecstasy with over 120,000 views. The most viewed Rucoy short that I could find is Rucoy Online Drop Moments #Rucoy Online by GM Rucoy Online. The video itself is just the player Rex Raptor fighting an elite demon and getting a pretty nice drop, which is, you know, understandable. Nice just little drop clip. During the very recent Chickenpocalypse event that happened earlier in March, there was a message that would pop up when you logged into the game, and Ricardo spelled participate completely wrong. I don't even know how he managed to spell it like this. Rucoy is in a guild named Gods of Creation that was founded on February 7th, 2019. The only 2 members in it are Rucoy and Ricardo, both being owned, obviously, by the creator of the game. The original sprite designs for the second abilities were just the names, but in the color that associates with each class. It looked, interesting, I guess. The average height of an American male is 5'9". If I turn that into meters, that's 1.7525999 repeating meters. I found a tile in Vampires that is really good for this because I was able to count each individual pixel and see that every single tile is 24 by 24 pixels, meaning that each pixel is 0.073025 meters. If you count the pixels of the blacksmith, you can find out that he's 22 pixels tall and 22 pixels wide, meaning that he is 1.60655 meters by 1.60655 meters.